Could you do something like Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga for LeBron James? And then we're talking about stacking up multiple salaries. The Lakers would have to send out some other contracts. Could it be Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga for LeBron James and Maxi Kleber and Gabe Vincent or something like that? Are there other pathways? Sure, look.
Trevor Lane talks about LeBron James being traded to the Warriors. Check out what he had to say, and then I'll come back with my comments.
LeBron James teaming up with Steph Curry. The Golden State Warriors reportedly still pursuing a trade for the Lakers superstar. What could a deal look like, and how likely is it to happen? I'm Trevor Lane. This is the LakersNation.com YouTube channel. Make sure you subscribe right here to the channel and turn on those notifications. So this was from Jake Fisher on the Substack that he runs with Mark Stein. They do a great job there. Who would the Warriors pursue if Jonathan Kuminga were to relent and take their 2-year offer? So if Jonathan Kuminga were to take a 2-year, $45 million deal with the Golden State Warriors, waive his inherent no trade clause that would come with that deal. We've been talking about this a lot over on the Basketball Bulletin. The Jonathan Kuminga situation has been a very tricky one for the Golden State Warriors. But let's say Kuminga gives in, does not play for the qualifying offer, and takes the 2-year deal that is clearly designed to be traded. Well, the Warriors are linked to LeBron James and potentially using Jonathan Kuminga as a way to get him. This is what Fisher said. As long as LeBron James' future in Los Angeles remains uncertain, Golden State will undoubtedly be mentioned as a potential James suitor. And he's told the Warriors have called the Lakers on multiple occasions over the past 18 months to see whether there is any pathway on pairing LeBron James and Steph Curry, who roughly a year ago was teaming together with the U.S. men's national team to win gold at the Paris Olympics. James and Curry were said to greatly enjoy their experience as teammates on the international stage, with Golden State's Steve Kerr serving as their coach. The Warriors are known for their penchant to go big game hunting, starting with their pursuit of Kevin Durant and getting him. And then they also pursued Kevin Durant this past year at the trade deadline. That didn't work out when KD did not want to go back to Golden State, and they also landed Jimmy Butler. So Golden State known to go big game hunting. Frankly, so are the Lakers, though. That's worth noting.
Yeah, LeBron to the Warriors, it makes sense just because of the connection with Steph Curry and especially his BFF Draymond Green. Draymond Green goal before he retires is to play with his king, LeBron James. So this could be a great opportunity for the Warriors to land LeBron. But by them getting Jimmy Butler, signing him to that 2-year deal, he's making 55 plus per year over the next 2 years. Do you really want to invest in a 41-year-old, 50 plus million? That could kind of set your franchise back unless you're going to sign Kuminga to that 2-year 45, but you still got to make up 30 million. Do the Lakers want Jimmy Butler in return? I think Jimmy Butler, he kind of meshes with the Warriors. Do the Lakers want another diva in return? Jimmy, if you say something to Jimmy Butler, he's going to request a trade. He's going to shut down and miss games. So you got a better chances of sticking with LeBron. If you had to swap LeBron and Jimmy, the money makes sense. It matches better. But I would assume the Lakers would want Jonathan Kuminga, but it's just going to be a tough time trying to get multiple contracts to match up with LeBron James, $52 million, unless you get a third or fourth team involved. But if the Lakers can get a Jonathan Kuminga, that could be decent as far as building out their young core with Luka for the next 5 or 10 years.
And would have interest in trading for LeBron James should the Lakers decide to move on from him. Now, of course, the other piece to this is, would the Lakers want Jonathan Kuminga? Long-term young player, can certainly score the ball. Is he the best fit moving forward with Luka Doncic? Well, the concerns that the Golden State Warriors have had with Jonathan Kuminga has been his lack of three-point shooting. He struggled from behind the arc. In fact, last season had his worst three-point shooting season of his career so far, after betting on himself, essentially, and hoping that the three-point percentage would come up. That could pose some problems for the Lakers as well, a team that is now building around Luka Doncic. Everything that they do is going to be through that lens. Is this player a fit with Luka? That said, Jonathan Kuminga is a talented scorer. Is he the kind of switchy defensive player that the Lakers could use that could also knock in shots from outside? No, he's still a very young talent that fits in with Luka's timeline in that regard. And so a lot of it would come down to whether or not you buy the three-point shot for Jonathan Kuminga. But
with the lack of shooting Jonathan Kuminga has, he's a decent mid-range, but that three-point shot is paramount. You need that, especially if you're with the Lakers, to where if Luka's going to be able to drive to the basket, collapse the defense, think about how many wide-open shots Kuminga can get. So he's a liability out there. Now, if you had more shooting and a Jonathan Kuminga. That can be one thing. Maybe you can attach a Buddy Hield to this trade. That'll make great sense for the Lakers. So if you add Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and maybe some other players and a third team, you got something if you're the Lakers that's worth giving up a LeBron James that's acting like a diva, that wants to make personnel and executive decisions. He lost the power with the Lakers. He feels a certain way. He's real salty. So Kuminga, Buddy Hield, and some other players for LeBron, maybe you throw in a draft pick. That could be enough to entice the Lakers to go all out and make this trade happen. But Jonathan Kuminga, that three-point shot, he has to get better because he's going to have a lot of wide open opportunities playing with Luka Doncic.
On the surface, is he a perfect fit for the Lakers with Luka? No, but he's also not exactly an imperfect fit either. The athleticism, the bounce that he provides, the ability to fill it up, that could certainly be an attractive quality, but you have to buy that the three-point shot is going to come along as well as the defensive side of the ball. Now, contractually, where are we at with LeBron James? So he's at $52.6 million under contract, and that's where this gets really, really tricky, trying to come up with a trade that makes sense. $52.6 million under contract with the Los Angeles Lakers. He does have a no-trade clause. He has a no-trade clause, and so he would have to want to go. LeBron would have to tell the Lakers, please trade me to the Golden State Warriors. Otherwise, LeBron would have final say in any kind of a trade. He would be able to just say, no, I don't want to be traded, and that would be that. My sense is also not that the Lakers want to trade LeBron James. In fact, my understanding is that the Lakers' goal for this season is to win a championship with LeBron and with Luka Doncic. It is not to trade LeBron James. The Lakers want to go win a title right now with LeBron James and Luka Doncic. So,
yeah, the Lakers winning a championship this season, slim to none, especially if you're trying to win it for LeBron. That's not happening. I don't care what Rich Paul is saying. The Lakers, they really want to move on from LeBron, but with that $52 million contract, the Lakers are stuck right now. Luka, he's going to play it cool. He looks up to LeBron. That's one of his idols, I guess, but either way, regardless of Luka playing nice, the Lakers organization, they would really want to get off of LeBron James, but with that no trade clause, it's going to make things tough. And then with that $52 million contract, that's going to make things even more tougher. Teams don't mind having LeBron, but if they got to mortgage their future just for one season, I don't think that makes business sense. So the Lakers, they may be stuck with LeBron James for the rest of this season.
This season goes great. Again, they would like to win a championship. They win a title this year, and everybody comes back next year, and off we go, and we continue moving in that direction. That would be the preference for sure, but right now, the Lakers have a great deal of optionality set up for next summer. You've got LeBron James is a free agent. Austin Reeves, who knows what's going to happen there? He's got a player option. Rui Hachimura is a free agent. Gabe Vincent, Maxi Kleber, free agents. They've got a lot of flexibility to pivot next summer, depending on how this season all plays out. But if LeBron goes to the Lakers midseason and says, hey, I want to go play with Steph Curry, what could the Lakers potentially do? Well, as mentioned, Jonathan Kuminga would be the centerpiece of that deal from the Warriors' perspective if they decided to trade for LeBron James. But the tricky part with Jonathan Kuminga, let's say you do sign him to that contract. Again, we're talking about a $22.5 million contract. But where it gets tricky is with base year compensation, where essentially what happens, because the raise that Jonathan Kuminga is getting, he only counts for about half of his outgoing salary to the Golden State Warriors, where he would count for the entire salary coming in for the Los Angeles Lakers. So that's where things get difficult. Now, the Lakers can hard cap themselves at the first apron. They could accept a player via sign and trade. If it was a deal being done right now, they are already hard capped at the first apron, so it doesn't matter how many times they re-hard cap themselves there. So if they want to do the deal tomorrow, they could. But where things get very difficult from the Golden State Warriors side is with that base year compensation, because it effectively means that unless they are okay with triggering a hard cap at the first apron by taking back more money than they send out, they would have to figure out a way to send more salary somewhere else. It would have to be some kind of a 3-team trade. So some type of structure, which they've been unwilling to do so far.
Yeah, it's just too much moving parts trying to trade straight up LeBron for Kuminga. You got to get a third team involved. A lot of salaries got to be in place. Do the Warriors want to mortgage their future? and a lot of assets for a 41-year-old in LeBron, or do they try to do a straight-up trade, Jimmy Butler for LeBron? I don't think that's a good idea, only because you get Jimmy Butler on your team a year or two, he's pretty much nowhere to be found. He's going to be 38, making about $55 million. So you'll be back in the same situation with a Jimmy Butler. And honestly, I would rather have LeBron over Jimmy, just because you know LeBron's going to play more efficient. Still got to deal with the egos, but LeBron James, he's just a better fit than Jimmy Butler. So if you're going to trade LeBron for Jimmy, I don't think that's a good look. Now, if you can get Kuminga in the mix, that could be a better play, but straight up LeBron for Jimmy, I wouldn't do it if I'm the Lakers.
But even so, from the Lakers side, $22 million is not enough money coming in for LeBron James. Now, you can take back less money than you're sending out. That's certainly a thing. The Lakers could save a lot of money that way. But Jonathan Kuminga straight up for LeBron James, it's just logistically, it's way too big of a gap there. So could you close the gap? Could you use players like Moses Moody? Could you use the aforementioned Buddy Hield? Even then, it just gets very difficult to stack up enough money from the Warriors side of things to go get a $52 million player in LeBron James without getting into Draymond Green or something like that. But obviously the Warriors would want to keep Draymond Green and build around him, especially given the fact that Draymond and LeBron are friends. So
BFFs.
What does this all boil down to? Well, the Warriors may indeed have been checking in on LeBron James for a while now. For the last 18 months, they've been checking in on him. But the Warriors also kind of already made their move when they went and got Jimmy Butler. Now, could you do something like Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga for LeBron James? And then we're talking about stacking up multiple salaries. The Lakers would have to send out some other contracts. Could it be Jimmy Butler and Jonathan Kuminga for LeBron James and Maxi Kleber and Gabe Vincent or something like that? Are there other pathways? Sure. Look, one of the things that NBA teams have done under the new collective bargaining agreement, which is fairly restrictive, is they've been very creative at a necessity. They've had to get very creative in order to get deals done and figure out ways to do the things that they're wanting to do. And again, I commend NBA general managers for the creativity that they've shown under this new collective bargaining agreement. But on the surface, is there a clear, easy path to making this happen? No. And ultimately, we have to remember, is this what the Lakers want to do? Do the Lakers want to trade LeBron James? No, as I said, they want to win a championship this year with LeBron and with Luka. This is not the goal of the Lakers. So LeBron would have to go to the Lakers and say, please trade me and trade me to the Golden State Warriors. I will waive my no trade clause in order to be traded to that team. Does that appear to be a likely scenario right now? No, of course.
Now, again, if the Lakers can get Kuminga and Jimmy for LeBron and you don't have to give up on Austin Reeves, you definitely got to make that trade. That's a good trade-off. Young asset for young asset. Reeves, Kuminga, that's a good swap. So you got to look into that if you're LA and the Warriors. But again, I just don't see it happening. LeBron get comfortable. You'll be playing out the full season with the Lakers. I know he may have some issues being a second option, not only on the court, but off the court when it comes to decisions being made. So he did what he did, got Bronny into the league, got JJ Redick a job, traded their future, their young future, for AD and Russell Westbrook, but it's pretty much a wrap. LeBron just got to play out the season, become a free agent, and then that's when better moves can be made. But just with that $52 million contract, teams are going to be hesitant. That's why this trade hasn't happened. If they were in talks with the Lakers for about a year and a half and nothing has happened, it's really that contract. So again, it ain't happening. LeBron will be a Laker for the full season.